What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about the biggest lessons from Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's also going to be kind of a summary of Atomic Habits, if you will. This book is a #1 New York Times bestseller. It has become part of the mainstream, and for a very, very good reason. Quite honestly, a lot of the mainstream self-help books I've read have been pretty good, but this one far exceeded any expectations I had. This has been one of the best books that I've read, and one of the most influential books that I've ever read in terms of making actual changes to the way that I live my life. And those changes that I've made have gotten me some pretty good results. Before we dive into some of the biggest lessons from this book that I want to share with you guys today, I want to go over what an atomic habit really is. So the title of this book is Atomic Habits, and the subtitle is Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. This is such an important topic. Habits are literally at the forefront of the results that we have in our life. So this is why this book is so valuable. Now, this is what an atomic habit is, according to the author, James Clear. An atomic habit refers to a tiny change, a marginal gain, a 1% improvement. They are little habits that are part of a larger system. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. So the tiny things, the small changes that we make really do go far. And that brings us to the first really valuable lesson of this book, the 1% daily improvement. If you can get 1% better at anything every day, and that 1% improvement compounds over time, by the end of a year, you will be 37 times better at whatever it is that you've been making 1% improvements on. That's the way compound interest works. So compound interest isn't just valuable for financial investments. It's also very valuable for practicing any skill that we want to get better at, working towards building any kind of business, anything. 1% better every day, you will get 37 times better by the end of the year. And this is very relevant to this book here because to get 1% better every day, you have to be consistent. You have to show up every single day. The reality behind trying to accomplish anything is that most people overestimate what they could do in 1 month and underestimate what they can do in a year or 5 years even. We can get incredible results if we just keep working at whatever it is that we're working on. That brings us to the next really valuable lesson of this book that I really cherish. And that lesson is the plateau of latent potential. This lesson highlights the reality of the fact that it takes time to see results. Even if we work really hard every day and we get 1% better every day for a month or 2 months, we're not really going to see any results. Sometimes it even takes a year or 2 years before we start to see a lot of results. But the reality is that as long as you're consistent, you will start to see the results. It just takes time. Now, most people quit in what we can call the valley of disappointment. We expect our results to be linear, but that's not the way it works. The results are often very delayed. So we won't see any results come from our hard work after 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 days. But when the results do come, they start to come exponentially. The thing is, most people quit in what we can call the valley of disappointment. That's what James Clear calls it. In that first 40, 50 days when you're putting in the work every day but not seeing any results. But don't get discouraged. That hard work is counting towards the results. The results are just loading, so to speak. They'll get there. And that brings us to the next really valuable lesson. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. So if you don't really have too much clarity of where you're going to end up and you're curious of how your life is going to look in 5 years, all you have to do is follow the trajectory of your habits. So if you have very good habits and you're consistent with them, in 5 years, you can rest assured your life is going to yield all those results that your habits are going to build you. If you have bad habits, you can rest assured, or maybe not rest so well, being assured that your life isn't going to look so well in 5 years. All you got to do is follow the trajectory of your habits. Now, the good news is that even if you don't have many good habits and you have a lot of what you would call bad habits, habits that you don't think are going to yield you results that you're really going to like for your life, it's not too late to change. Following the trajectory of your habits is what your life is going to look like if you don't make any changes. But if you want to make some changes, go ahead, buy this book, get an in-depth understanding of how to make the changes necessary to implement better habits into your life. And if you don't want to do that, if that sounds like it's too much work, well, maybe you got to build a habit around reading because it's really valuable and it's really going to help you. But don't worry, I'm going to share some of the really valuable tips behind how to build good habits in the rest of this video. So all the lessons that I shared so far are kind of fundamental truths behind habits, but now I'm going to share some of the lessons from this book that involve actual practical advice on how to build better habits. James puts forth a really good idea in this book that you don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise or fall to the level of your systems. Anybody who wants to be an Olympian and wants to win a gold medal has the same goal, but not everybody wins the gold medal. The people who win the gold medal are the ones that have the best systems in place to make the most improvements, to perform the best, to get the best results. So you have to focus not on the results, but on the systems that you're putting in place that are going to yield the results. One of the biggest lessons that I took away from this book is the lesson of environment design. So that's a part of my system that I've put in place now to help me consistently perform my good habits and to help me consistently avoid any bad habits that I used to have. So environment design is all about designing your environment to support your good habits and avoiding your bad habits, like I just said. So what does that mean for me? That means having my meditation cushion out in a place that's loud and clear to me every day. So it's a visual cue and a reminder to do my meditation. It means leaving my book on my pillow so that before I go to bed, I read. It means actually having a gym in my apartment. So it means I don't have to spend time getting up and traveling to the gym. Instead, I just wake up and the gym is 10 steps away from my bed. I actually have a whole video on this principle of environment design. You can go check that out. It's called Why I Put a Gym in My One-Bedroom Apartment. And the reason that I did that is because I want to design my environment to withhold my good habits. If you have bad habits like eating food that's not healthy for you, instead of having unhealthy food in the house, just exercise the willpower to not even purchase the bad food. Purchase good food. Humans are creatures of convenience just as much as we're creatures of habit. So if we want an unhealthy snack, but it's not in the cupboard, and we have healthy snacks in the cupboard instead, we're just going to probably go ahead and eat those healthy snacks instead of taking the time and energy to go to the store to buy the unhealthy snacks. So environment design is one of the best ways, in my opinion, to set yourself up for success and one of the most valuable lessons that I took away from this book. The next big lesson is that for our habits to stick, we want to find a way to make them immediately rewarding. Now, of course, a trend behind good habits versus bad habits, or healthy things versus not so healthy things, is the good habits and the healthier things in life tend to be associated with delayed gratification. A lot of hard work to not see so many results, only to see the results in the end. Like exercising or eating healthy. It's going to take time to start to feel better. It's going to take time to start to look better. Versus unhealthy things and bad habits are usually instantly gratifying. Like eating unhealthy, we get that salt, sugar, and fat kick that is instantly gratifying. Or succumbing to our laziness and not exercising, we get that instant gratification of just being able to relax instead of going to work out. But the catch is that with the bad habits, overall, they're not nearly as gratifying as the good habits. But the issue is, how do we make the good habits gratifying in the short term so that we're more likely to be consistent with them? What I've done is take James's advice and go ahead and print out a calendar and put it on my fridge. And for every day that I perform all of the good habits that I have listed out on the bottom of that calendar, I get a line through the day. Now, you might have a couple false starts when you're trying to build your streak, but eventually you're going to get 5, 6, 7 in a row, and now all you have to do is not break the chain. It's going to be very rewarding to go ahead and put that line through the day. You're going to feel like you accomplished something, which you did. And it's a visual cue, it's a visual reminder. It's another thing that you're doing that's reminding you that these good habits are worthwhile. And it's going to feel rewarding just to put that little line through the day, as silly as that might sound. go ahead and try it out for yourself and you'll see what I mean. Now, the last big lesson here revolves around consistency. The last lesson is called the 2-minute rule. Now, even if you have a really busy day, it's packed full of stuff. If you have 5 habits that you want to do every single day to get your line through that day in the calendar, all you got to do is spend 2 minutes on each thing, even if you had a very, very busy day. 2 minutes times 5 habits, that's 10 minutes out of your day. Anybody could find time for 10 minutes at the end of the day before bed just to get their consistency on track. Now, obviously you want to do more than 2 minutes, but bare minimum, follow the 2-minute rule just so you can stay consistent. Now, those last 3 points that I gave on the practical examples of ways that you can make the good habits easier and the tiny changes that you can make to be more consistent with your good habits, follow the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it rewarding. Now, I'm not going to dive into that too much. You can kind of quiz yourself and think, okay, which one associates with which law? But James dives into those laws a lot in this book. And I'll just leave you off with, if you're trying to quit any of the bad habits that you have, all you have to do is invert those laws. So instead of make it obvious, make it out of reach. Instead of make it attractive, make it unattractive. Instead of make it easy, make it difficult. And instead of make it satisfying, find a way to make it not satisfying. But like I said, for more detail on the 4 laws, you can go ahead and pick up this book. He goes very in-depth into them. You can also find a cheat sheet. I think it's at atomichabits.com/cheatsheet.com or something like that. I will put the link in the description box. I think I probably got that link wrong when I just said it verbally. But you can go ahead and click the link in the description box for the cheat sheet on the 4 laws of behavior change. And that's really going to help you. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's my little summary on Atomic Habits and me sharing the biggest lessons from that book with you. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to my channel for more helpful content, and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one. The next huge lesson is shifting from outcome-based habits to identity-based habits. So what that means is this. Here's this visual that I'm going to put up. On the outside, we have outcomes, then we have process, and then we have identity. Most people try to make changes in their life focusing on the outside working in. They want to get a result, so they're focused on the outcomes. And then, okay, how is it that I'm going to get that result? They go ahead and they think about the process that they're going to use to obtain a result. And then they don't even really think about the core, the identity. Now, the more effective way to go ahead and get results is by not even focusing on the results, but by focusing on the identity, creating habits based around who you want to be. So instead of working from the outside in, work from the inside out. Get your goal, isolate it, and ask yourself, who is the person that would achieve this goal? And now you have to become that person. To become that person, what would this kind of person do? So if your goal is to have your dream body, who's the person that would have a six-pack that could squat 300 pounds? Well, it's a person that really cares about health and wellness and really values it and really loves weight training and going to the gym 5 times a week. Okay, what would that person do? They would go to the gym 5 times a week. I already gave you that answer right there. And now, if you become that person and you do those things, the outcomes will yield themselves. Now, this is kind of a theoretical thing here, but if you go about doing this in a reflective exercise, ask yourself that question of who is the type of person that would achieve these goals that I have, and then just become that person. Your goals will yield themselves, and you will consistently take action to achieve them because you're making a change on a level of identity rather than just chasing an outcome.